Meow to y'all, it's the Cutting Corner Podcast, hosted by your resident catboy Keo, where we talk about video editing tips, tricks, and tactics to stay up to date in the competitive content creation world. Today, I am honored to introduce my prestigious guest, Tom Simons.
Prestigious.
Yes,
oh my
prestigious.
good God. But I was taken aback that you just said Catboy, but I'm going to skim over it.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. Perhaps people better know you online as TommyInnit, of course. 17-year-old YouTube Twitch sensation from Nottingham. Is that right?
Yeah, Nottingham. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Tommy, welcome to the show. Absolute pleasure to chat with you.
Me. No, I'm very excited to nerd out, man. This is well cool.
All right. Well, Tommy, how do you feel about VTubers? You ever spoken to a catboy?
VTube? No, I mean, it's cool. I don't really know very much about it.
Okay.
No, this is my first Catboy experience.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I'll try to make sure it's a positive experience.
Thank you.
So, completely unrelated to edits, of course. But really getting right into it, Tommy, I think you're an incredibly unique case in the editing world in the sense that, like, you initially wanted to become an editor, right? Be it for content online or through broadcast and film means, but somewhere along the way, you found incredible success. And now you're in a position where editing as a craft itself it's a bit below your pay grade, and you found yourself to be the entertainer first and foremost. How does your love for editing come into play with your content today versus when you were editing it yourself?
Yeah, well, you say that actually, Keo. But my last video, my natural disasters one, I did all of the cuts on my end for.
Oh, wonderful.
Last year when I started my vlog channel, I did the first 4 vlogs. Aside from outsourcing the subtitles, I did all of those. The music, the editing, even when we had GoPros, the POV swapping, I did all of that myself. Like, I'd sat down once a week for like a day and did it.
Okay,
so
cool.
I still do quite a lot of my editing now. Like, I'd love it.
Okay, I actually had no idea about that. As far as I knew, Elodie tackled all the vlogs, and of course Larry over on the Minecraft end, but you still do, you are hands-on still to some extent.
Yeah, so sort of our process with it is usually I'll sort of write up like a bit of a, okay, we've just done this recording, here's what I'd like it to be.
Sure.
And then they go off and sort of edit that, and then we use this thing called Frame.io where they upload it and I review it and give copious bullshit comments like, use the other Animal Crossing song, and they go, yes, Tommy, add chromatic aberration there. I'm sure, I mean, we worked together ages ago when I was uploading my stream highlights to TommyInnit, sort of in the early days of Dream SMP. So I'm sure you remember me going different Animal Crossing.
It was before Frame.io, but I certainly remember those videos. Yeah. I do have fond memories of editing. I think it was FNAF 4. It was FNAF 4, and then you were selling bathwater to Halo. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean, my second channel sort of became like a commentary channel towards, I haven't posted on it in like a year, but my extra channel. But yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, so you obviously have a very interesting history with editing and hiring editors, being an editor first and foremost yourself. So we'll get to that a bit more in detail. But aside from the fun things that add a little spice to your videos, like you said, chromatic aberration or rotating the text ever so slightly in your intros, are there like major elements that people might overlook when you define what a TommyInnit video is?
Yeah, I think it's very sort of thematically with my videos. I think it's got a really unique thing to it where sort of, you can go from a Minecraft video to an Among Us video to me on a dating show, then to me in real life, and they all feel really linked together. And that's because I think sort of the music and the way I do my intros and the subtitles, like all of those are all so consistent and sort of improve and like evolve at the same time across the board. I think the way I do like fonts and stuff and the way I sort of show text on screen is quite like precise. So I have this like yellow text I'll sometimes show to show like an action, and I do that sort of very specifically. The way it all sort of jumps onto the screen, and like you mentioned, like the slight rotation, all of that is really intentional. I'm very, very perfectionisty when it comes to editing.
Well, I think that would just come naturally, of course, since you've been content creating since you were real young, and as it carried with you through your career, I would imagine that even hiring other editors, you are still going to be very, very nitpicky about things because, well, at the end of the day, it's your video, right? It's your baby.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So when you began working with Larry, of course, Archie, Elodie, were there any nerves involved handing off like the work that you were used to doing yourself, or were you pretty confident in their abilities from the get-go?
Well, I'm happy to talk about that. So,
Sure.
the first editor I ever worked with was when I had about 50,000 subscribers, and I was very sort of reluctant to. And I worked with a guy called GVids, who now is like super successful on TikTok and just YouTube Shorts.
Yes, shout out GVids.
Yeah, I did my first edit with him, and that was sort of really like, or it might have been a guy called Gemplix. I sort of did my first ones with them, and I went, oh shit, someone could do this faster and better than me. This is awesome. And so I sort of worked with different editors for a while and was finding out like how sort of I feel about like due dates and sort of varying away from my style. Because one of the things I realized quite early on is I want editors to edit exactly how I'd edit, but like better. Like I want them to almost
faster, more
like
efficient.
have the same edit. Yeah, like have the same editor brain. And I don't want like someone to do sort of, you know, like if someone's been editing for, I'm trying to think of it, I don't know, Memulous, and then they come over to my channel and do their edit that they do on the Memulous channel for TommyInnit, like I don't want that.
Right, it just won't feel right.
But then what happened was I met this guy called Larry on Twitter, Talent Lacking, because he's very in the Hypixel community. He was like friends with Bitzel and everyone. And I asked him if he'd do an edit, and I sent it him. And it was also one of my edits, which was sort of very similar to Schlatt videos, and Schlatt's always my big inspiration. So I was like, and then he sent it back. It was the Skyblock tier list, and it was like, holy shit. He like did things I wouldn't have thought, but I really liked, and he got the subtitles, and he just got it down, and he was on time, and I was like, oh my God. And then since then, like holy shit, he's brilliant. Larry is so brilliant. And so since then I was like, hey, can you do this? And Larry's just always nailed it.
Yeah,
always.
I've known Larry, I think about just as long as I had originally reached out with you. I had known Archie beforehand, and I met Larry through Archie. But ever since I was on your little small editing team briefly, we have really bonded over just the arduous task of editing really as a job. And I came to know them as really, really great people. And Larry's dedication to the craft is really, really inspiring, even to this day. And you're definitely very lucky to have him. And I'm glad that you are, you know, it is very clear to me that you hold very high value of Larry and as a part of your team. I think that
I think editors are sort of the most overlooked part of YouTube. Like when I was uploading my mod videos for the past year, sort of, and I'll probably accidentally miss some names here, but it was basically Larry edited all my videos like borderline perfectly for a whole year. And if I hadn't have had Larry, like I would none of it would be anywhere. And so, you know, one of the things, like I've always been making sure to credit my editors in my description, and, like totally being very open to like, yes, this person did that and they did an amazing job. This was not me that nailed this edit.
Going out of your way to credit.
Giving the credit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because, you know, so like you check so many places and they're just like not in the descriptions. And I'm like, what? Like they are the people that did this, you know?
Right, of course. And I know it can get complicated sometimes if you have like an entire team that rotates through the content that, you know, is on your channel and stuff like that.
So one of the, like recently, that's ironic actually. One of the recent ones I didn't because there was like so many people that had like done little bits.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm saying like, yeah, dude, you got to credit everyone, man. I'm the hero.
No, I get it though. No. I completely understand why some channels wouldn't go about it that way. But when you can, and if you have a few core members that, you know, make or break your entire channel, certainly credit them when you can. Man. Yeah. Again, with what makes your videos, with Nintendo recently cracking down on their IP usage on YouTube, do you think you'll be affected by that at all? Or is Able Sisters relatively safe to use still?
Well, my thought process on it has been this, that every single one of my videos has Nintendo music in.
Right.
Every last one. And if they start copyright claiming me, fuck. But there are so many other YouTubers on the platform, Schlatt, Skeppy, like all of those are just off the top of my head, that also use Nintendo music.
Right.
So we're all going to go down together and it will be a massive thing in the event that happens. One of the things I sort of realized really early on, and I've had a few little like, they seem so obvious, but then they click in your head and you go, why? Oh, is a video game music is never copyrighted. Because if someone was going to make a video on the game and then their video got copyright claimed, no one would make video. It massively de-incentivizes creators.
Right.
And with sort of the rise of sort of the fall of video game journalism and the rise of streamers, you've seen games like Among Us and Fall Guys and what was a Crab Game like being made for streamers to play. So it just doesn't make any like sense for people to copyright claim video game music, which is brilliant because video game music is also made. Sorry if I'm tangenting here.
No,
but also like made to be in the background. So it always works perfectly when I'm the foreground doing my jokes. And you've got this really well, like put together music in the back. But however, Nintendo are like nut jobs.
Yeah.
When it comes to cracking down on stuff, they, Mario can still sponsor me, but Jesus Christ, they go insane. So I really hope they don't stumble upon the TommyInnit channel. But
or at the very
there's always
least,
Epidemic Sound and Story Blocks and whatever.
Right.
I actually had an idea last year to try and find the guy that made the Able Sisters, or some like really competent like musicians, and like hire them to make my own, because I think my songs have very distinct vibes. Like the Able Sisters is when I'm gonna go and annoy someone. The Wii Shop theme is like the grand welcome to the stream, but like to like get my own version of them, which I think Ludwig did. But I thought that would be like so cool.
It would be cool, but I'd have to imagine. Let's see, Animal Crossing came out almost 20 years ago now. I would imagine that the composer is probably retired.
Dead.
No,
Long
not
dead.
dead. I don't think
Long
he's dead.
dead. Very dead.
Okay, well, I guess once you're over 40, you might as well be dead to Minecraft YouTubers. Everyone
Very
being under
dead.
the age of 15. My bad. My apologies. No, genuinely, though, I would hope that nothing like that ever happens, because I would be retroactively screwing all of my clientele, because I also use tons and tons of Nintendo music, not even just from Animal Crossing, of course, but from Mario games. I think there was even an instance where I used really, really old Zelda music from the CDI games, the ones that no one
They
played.
have the best music though, ever, the Nintendo game.
Definitely.
It's, like the thing about Animal Crossing music, why it works so well for like comedy videos, is it has pauses in, like perfectly,
Right,
and to
right.
be able to like have a music that you can pause and then continue like it stopped, but like almost a pause on the jokes, just make it adds so much. They're so brilliant in Nintendo
And it's meant to
songs.
be looped as well. That's another great thing.
Yeah, it's meant to be looped, it's meant to be paused, it's meant to be like I just get excited for when Nintendo games come out because of what the
This
music will
soundtrack
be.
is gonna be great. Yeah,
Dude, Mario Odyssey has the best soundtrack. Like,
Yeah, Odyssey
it
is
drops so
wonderful.
many bangers. It has the title theme. It has New Donk City. It's got the Steam Gardens. It's like, man, one of my things I have on my computer that I spent like 5 years building up is this copious video game soundtrack,
like a library
like
on your hard drive.
and I'm so I'm so proud of it.
No, that's I think that's good, because I have to imagine that if any of them ever decide to crack down, you need an immediate backup.
Yeah. I'm just fucked.
I don't think your viewers would be able to just, be able to hear audio jungle in the background and get used to it. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to find some sort of replacement with the same energy, but custom music isn't a bad idea. That's definitely something to put a pin in.
It's not, I always think with it, like, listen, if they're going to claim me, they're going to claim everyone.
Exactly.
And so everyone will be fucked at the same time, and they'll have a big PR disaster on their hands. So maybe they won't. And also people will stop. Like, did you know you barely ever see videos on the Lego games? And you should, like, you wonder why. Lego games are huge, right? But it's because Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Batman, Lego Star Wars all get copyright claimed.
Yeah, I have no idea
And so,
why.
and it's such because they're movie video games, and movie soundtracks get claimed, and they use the same soundtracks. So that would just be like really, and think of how many big Nintendo, like Donkey and stuff, no one would make Nintendo videos anymore. So I don't know. I don't think it would be in their interest, and they haven't yet, which makes me think they probably won't.
Nintendo do a lot of things out of their interest, but
but after wasn't it like some
crossed.
Smash tournament they like shut down?
Oh, that's a whole other.
Man.
Yeah.
I could see. I just don't think about it.
We try not to think about it. We just don't pass them is all. Yeah. Well, to move along from doom and gloom aspects of editing, you've said in several interviews and podcast spots, of course, in the past that you've prioritized comedy in your videos in particular, and doing that was a key to the success that you've had. Do you think providing free comedy, of course, to people on YouTube during the frightening rise of COVID pushed your content further than it might have otherwise? Like, as in everyone's staying home and consuming content more, preferably content that, might relieve them from the day-to-day horrors going on outside. Do you think that was like more of a silver lining to the pandemic than anything? Or was it like particularly advantageous in an ingenious way? Like,
dude,
ingenuous.
So I think first of all, yes, like the humor is a huge part of my success. One of the things Mr. Beast used to say when he was blowing up and did his early interviews was, everyone clickbaits negativity on YouTube, but no one ever clickbaits positivity. I think my thing was like, that's both brilliant. No one clickbaits comedy except like Fitz and Carson did at the time. Like this was like, why this is such like a medium that's universal and everyone there's already these late night TV shows like SNL and John Oliver that all already do it and like known for being funny. Why is this not happening on Minecraft?
On the platform, right?
And now I say that, or like, you know, this sounds like I perfectly calculated it and I knew I'd blow up. No.
Yeah, exactly.
How it happened, actually, the story behind all the titles is Carson, call me Carson, uploaded the funniest GTA 5 video ever, and he like put his face in it and put funny in the title. And I was like to Dream, like, hey, should I just like rip that off?
Give it a go.
He was like, yeah. And then right at this same time, Mr. Beast started putting his face in all of his thumbnails. And then Dream was like, yeah, I owe so much of like this YouTube science stuff to Dream. Like he has taught me so much of it and nerded out with me about it. But like, yeah, and then I started putting my face in the thumbnails. Like it wasn't calculated. But once you sort of start doing it, you can sort of, you never really know why something's going to be successful until you've uploaded it.
Of course.
And you can, once you've uploaded the first one, sort of gauge the way it's going to go.
Right.
But I never really, I wasn't like, yes, dude, obviously it's going to be comedy. I just was making the videos I wanted to make. And I think that like that's still what I do now. I just make videos I want to make, you know, keeping my audience in mind, but also thinking, you know, is there like a 1% chance someone's dad could enjoy this to keep expanding out?
What's the best way to sell it? Exactly. Yeah. Make the content you want, but how do you market this to everyone? Right.
Yeah, well, so the most important thing is I love the video. Like I've had so many videos that were like, I was like, this is a banger, but I just didn't like want to make it.
Sure,
and then it's like appealing to my subscribers. So like in a few weeks' time, I'm going to upload a GTA 5 video, and I have no idea if that might, you know, I might be watching back on this. It could change the course of my channel, or it might be a fun one-off video. But I never know until I've published it. A really great example of this is like 2 years ago, I impromptu went to go and meet my friends, and I went, hey, I'm going to film some bits of this on my phone so I can remember it. And then when I met them, we were just like really sort of jiving, because my friend Wilbur, when I meet him, it's one of these few people, he activates this weird mode in me where all I want to do is make him laugh, and and then I kept filming it while we were at the arcade. And then I went, and then Schlatt uploaded his dating video at the time, which I like loved. I still just copy Schlatt, and then I like throw in these little interims, and then I posted a vlog,
and now it's your biggest video on the
entire course of my channel. So it's like you really never know until you've uploaded something, and it's really almost never calculated, you know.
Sure, of course.
But like, yes. So I think comedy is a huge part of of sort of my current success and stuff.
Right. Yeah, comedy during tragedy is really what I was trying to get at. Like, obviously, comedy.
I think if I did those mod videos now, like, I think they still would have sort of blown up in the way they did. But like right now, a video in normal times, a video to blow up is like 10 to 15 million views. Yeah, and that's really exciting. That's like insane. But I think if I'd have done all that mod video and still like had that trend, I would have blown up and probably got, 10 to 50 million views. Right. I don't think there'd ever be a time where I was getting 20 to 30 just randomly on those videos.
Yeah, without extreme circumstances. Yeah.
That being said, sort of the internet, well, not just the internet, the sort of YouTubers around me are generally getting more grandiose at the moment. So, you got Mr. Beast with the Squid Game and Dream with his manhunts. And so I think there's going to be sort of an element of combining that grandioseness with the comedy while still doing sort of my new stuff and more creative things and like trying stuff out that I think will prompt another sort of, oh, holy shit moment like the mod videos did.
Okay.
But you never really know until you've got there.
Right, of course, which is why I'm glad to hear that you're continuing to try new things and you want to continue being creative in your own endeavors and stuff like that. And I'll get a bit to that later on in the podcast. I had some specific questions about your creative endeavors in the future, but...
Sounds wonderful, yeah.
Backpedaling just a little bit to where we were about kind of like learning what sells a video best and the algorithm and stuff like that. Obviously, not only did editing play a huge part in your success initially upon your channel's takeoff, but as you made more and more content, it sounds like it was almost gamified to you and you became like enthralled with the idea of figuring out how the algorithm works or it's played even. And I think that eventually brought you to where you are now, or it helped,
Thank you. Yeah.
And I guess I was wondering, was learning the algorithm just part of the job of creating your own content, or was it something you only started to try and pay attention to when you realized you had a real shot at making a career for yourself with YouTube?
Okay, well, so
it's a long question. I'm sorry.
No. Well, I've been hanging out with my mate Tubbo for the past few days, and we've been having some like long loaded chats while looking out at the sunset for like 4 days in a row. So this is very we've been having chats. Sorry, that was a strange anecdote, but we've been like really chatting about this stuff. So I have a very prepared answer. We've been talking about this specific thing, so I'm like, yes, I know. So I think. So the idea of this algorithm and this sort of dream that everyone can live of being a YouTuber that you can just do has always been like, holy shit, I want to do that. And I've viewed YouTube like a video game since I started playing it, which is just, these are, and there are so many humane moments of it. Like when I've met people, I've had like a few life-changing moments when I've met sort of viewers in real life and they've told me a story, and like it's been like, holy shit. That like you go, okay, yeah, this isn't just a video game. This is like a thing. This
I'm affecting
incredible.
people directly. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is like, wow. But like sort of the majority of the time, in order to keep it lighthearted as well, I sort of play like a video game. And the thing I found is the idea of sort of studying the algorithm is something I've done in quite a sort of different way, I think, because I know the example I always use is Dream, and Dream spent hours because he's a genius and he coded on computer science, would be like working out exactly why this is done well and analyzing a channel and doing this better. Why did they do that? Did they do that intentionally? And he is so brilliant at that. I'm not very brilliant at that. I was shit at maths in school and I didn't get my computer science. I had to do DT instead. But what I've always been really, really into is the idea of like, yes, in real life, when there is a cute girl I want to go and say hi to, it is the most devastating moment of all time and I can't go up to them and this is too scary. And like, even now, but on the internet, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And so I have always been really outgoing on the internet, and also sort of with the mindset of everyone else knows something about stuff that you don't, that can totally change your perspective on it.
Oh,
so one of the things I've just
1000%,
always done is just message people and go, hey, can you call to talk about YouTube? And hey, can you help me with this? And so my idea of studying the algorithm has also came with just my socialness of going like, hey, can you call? Hey, can you call? And then they ignore me and I go, no, but really, can you call? And I've just done that since I had like 1,000 subscribers. And I think it was, I can't remember the first time there was a guy called Not Nico, and I spoke to him for the first time when I was starting to get like a bit bigger on YouTube. I had like, 1,000 subscribers, and he was share screening his Premiere Pro, and he just hit G to change the audio levels. And I went, what? He went, yeah, did you not know you could? Yeah. And I went, what the fuck? And then I realized, oh my God, I know nothing. I will forever know nothing.
Sure.
And so ever since then, I've just like always been sort of wanting to call people about that.
Yeah.
But my main way of being is like, I'm quite like literate and I really like sort of English and literacy. So I will call people and then take notes and then add up after their notes. And then after a while, when I've spoken to Mr. Beast and Dream and Technoblade and Jaw and just like everyone, they've told me what they think about something. You get to sort of put it all together to figure out my own conclusion. And that is what I've basically done to sort of play it as a video game and study the science and then have this sort of overall gut feeling that then I can now come up with my own thumbnails and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I figured it was like an amalgamation of advice that you've received over the years.
Yeah, but it isn't. I'm in no way a guy that's been like, yeah, they did that because this reason and that. Like I do a bit more of that now because I kind of get the game.
Sure.
But like, yeah, I've never been able to just like sit down and study and do that. I've just like would call people.
No, of course. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I guess I was just wondering if the algorithm itself was part of the job of making your videos, just as a creator, or if it's something that you really, got into learning about once you realized you had a shot at it, like making it big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so it was always like wanting to blow up, but never really know what that meant. And I remember I got banned on Hypixel, and me and my friend Freddie went to Wales like 2 days after. And I remember me and him sitting down, and at the time, like everyone blew up in the Hypixel community, about 5,000 subscribers, like between 3,000 and 5,000. And that's like just about how many I had. And I remember going like, there was Astelic, Purple, Sammy Green had all just blown up like to 30K. And my goal was just like Hypixel YouTube rank. Like that's all I really wanted. That was the unforeseeable, like, holy shit. I remember sitting down to Freddie going, man, I'm really like ready to blow. Like I really want to, but I don't really know how. Like, I don't know what to do in this time. It was also when I was starting to feel a bit lost. And I remember like I went home and I went, right, you know what? I'm going to try something different. I'm going to make a video that I really put a lot of effort into and I think about and I make something I enjoy. And I remember being in a call one night on Discord and being like, what if I added subtitles? And then I started like, I made this little font with the Minecraft. I've had like 2 versions of subtitles and it was my first version like made that evening. And I went, oh, this is cool. And then I published that video and it got more views than my other ones. And I remember my jaw dropped and I went, oh, effort. And then really weirdly, again, like I had like 100,000 subscribers and it was uploading loads. And I was like, fuck, man, I don't, like 150k just pre-Dream SMP, and was like, man, I don't like. It was in the start of the quarantine. I was like, man, I've been daily uploading for 4 months. I don't sort of know which way to go about this. And I was like getting burnt out for the first time. I was getting burnt out, and I went, fuck, you know what? I'm just gonna make a video I'm passionate about and I want to make. And then me and Tubbo at like 3 a.m. recorded a video where we downloaded Minecraft hack clients, and then I went, I'm gonna edit this one myself and put more effort into. And then it blew up, and I went, oh. So wait, what was your question again, Kia?
No. The question was just whether or not, if you could pinpoint why you started studying the algorithm, if it was directly because you thought you had a shot.
Well, yeah. So when I had a shot, and so it was. I remember at that time after that being like, oh, and then right after that, I was like, yeah, dude, I get YouTube, I get it. And then I had a call with Dream for the first time ever, and he told me a load of stuff, and I remember this moment of my jaw dropping and going, oh, I know absolutely fucking nothing. And I was so confident that I knew loads about YouTube and that I got it. And I spoke to him and I went, oh my God. And then the day after, I spoke to this other YouTuber, Fundy. And I spoke to him and I went, oh my God, I know nothing. And then since that moment where I'd finally, after like months of being like, yes, I get YouTube. I get this is what Ludwig does, so I'm going to do it. Never mind. I'm going to post less frequently. I get it. Oh, never mind. Oh my God, how did I not think of that? And so since then, that kind of was my final, like, yes, get everyone's advice because everyone knows something you don't.
So everyone that you've spoken with has achieved success in their own ways, but not necessarily arrived via the same route, you know, like...
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, you know, Dream is incredible at, like, studying the algorithm, working out what works and how to do it better and why that worked. And Wilbur is incredible at coming up with his own ideas that he'd enjoy and other people would like. And I think my sort of bigger strength with the most of this has been sort of viewing asking for help not as a sort of negative last resort, because I think that's what it is like a lot of the time to a lot of people, is asking for help is like a bad thing,
right? Like it feels like giving up to some people, right?
Yeah, whereas for me it's been like even now when I feel sort of so confident in my abilities and so like, yeah, dude, I get it, right? Dude, I still have the other night I had a 2-hour call with Dream where I asked for his help on stuff. I asked Wilbur, I asked like, you know, any of my friends, and my dad and my mum, always like, what do you think? Because I think sort of I have such a lack of perspective with not just this but also life, so sort of keeping an eye on that and still asking for help has been my priority, which I think has really who'd have guessed helped me as well. But
sure, yeah, keeping yourself grounded,
yeah, and I think that is sort of where, and just learning, man, just like keeping learning and remembering I don't really know anything has been where I've sort of where I felt the most confident.
Right. So it's not necessarily that you don't know anything per se, but you have now experienced much more than others, and you can use that experience to further your content from here on out and share with others what has helped you further your content and how you've arrived there and things like that.
Yeah. And I think in like the next year or so, maybe a bit longer, I'm going to make a very sort of weekly slap-esque channel where I just can sit and nerd out about YouTube, because like I really love this, like talking about editing and really getting into it, but there's not really a medium for me to do it. Yeah. Because I really, you know, I want to be putting on this character, which I love doing and love making jokes. And, you know, like there's times on little sort of more on Twitter or on more low-key streams, but I find streaming quite hard to discuss more serious things on there because of like,
and there's a million distractions.
I can't cut this. Yeah. And there's a chat and there's a view account that's going up or down, whether I like it or not. I'd like just a place just to like talk about it because it like means a lot to me.
Right.
But not yet. But yeah, that's sort of, you know, I really like this stuff like a lot.
So I'm obviously very, very glad that you came on the podcast. But I do think that you will probably single-handedly change the way that the comments look currently, perhaps permanently for the channel. I have no idea. I'm hoping that it's a lot of... I'm going to
scroll all these comments for hours, man.
That's what I assumed. This is going to be one of the
best comment sections because like people are going to be sat nerding out about editing in it. Like I'm so excited to just read all the comments on this and people be like, oh yeah, about editing and about YouTube science, and like that's exciting.
Yeah, I hope people share their stories. That's one of my favorite things about putting out the podcast on YouTube is just reading some of the comments. And obviously you have people that are like, whoa, yeah, you got so-and-so, that's awesome, I love their stuff. But some people share like their experiences with those editors or with those clients.
Well, you know?
And yeah, exactly, their thoughts and how they've, you know, paved their way
Larry,
through.
Don't leave a comment about all the awfulness I've done to you, man. Just don't.
Yeah, Larry, sorry. Please. I'm gonna have to delete it as soon as I see it, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Please don't.
Yeah, no. So I'm very, very blessed to have you, and I appreciate you reaching out when you did.
Well, I appreciate you. This is such a cool thing to have done. Like, I think just about this little corner of the internet of editing. So I'm really happy you made it.
I couldn't believe no one had done it yet. Like, I had thought about it for the longest time, like a year and a half. Me and a few other editors had the idea in our head that we wanted to do an editing podcast. I think it was me, Davis, who is Dan TDM's editor, and Polite, Ludwig's editor, of course, and a few others. And we were just kind of like brewing around the idea, but no one had the time to commit. And, it bummed us all out. But, I found myself a year later still being like, there is still no editing podcast. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I should clarify. There wasn't an editing podcast that revolved around the content creation space that we are in. There's a lot of content creation of, people that specify in like, cinematography or vlog and real world style footage editing, color correction, that jazz. There's a nice handful of those, but it just doesn't feel the same. And the content is completely different.
You're into, no one's going to sit and talk about the exact stroke and drop shadow they put on a subtitle, but they will here.
Right, exactly. Here they would. And, obviously I didn't want you to just come on and talk about Doses Bold. I wanted you to...
Oh, I will.
I wanted you to be able to, express the...
Dude, I am so fucking passionate about fonts.
Really, right? Really? You're big on iconography?
Yeah, I really am. No, just to fonts and what looks good and what looks bad and why.
Okay.
My God, I can talk about fonts for hours.
Wow, well, I should have been a font podcast then. God, I'm sorry.
We can talk, if you want to talk fonts and what makes a subtitle font, I'll get into it, man.
Yeah, by all means, I'll make a little note here and we'll wrap back around at the end of the podcast.
We'll wrap to the fonts, all right?
Okay, we'll wrap to the fonts.
Don't get me started on fonts, right? I have got words.
What was the point that you realized that you would benefit from someone else editing the content for you? Because obviously we talked about, handing off the content and it being like a baby to you, it's like, dude, oh my God, someone else is going to take care of my child.
I actually remember the exact moment, and it was every day. So my sort of schedule in the summer holidays, God knows, 2019, 18.
How long did you have, by the way, for your holiday?
6 weeks, I think.
6 weeks. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I remember every day it would be me, Tubbo, Rudy, and Freddie would stream Skyblock that evening. And then like every other day, I'd decide it was a good enough stream usually. And then I'd sit and edit the video and then get it out. And then that night I'd stream again. But I remember it was like the 5th time where I'd done the edit in about 2 hours and it was great. And then I spent the next 3 hours subtitling occasionally. And I was like, this sucks.
This is getting arduous.
I was just sat subtitling myself for days, and I went, there's gotta be another way to do this.
Right.
And then I went, oh, I'm an idiot. And I just remember spending like a whole day subtitling, and then at the end going,
it's time to pull the trigger.
It's time.
So I'm assuming at that point in time you were at least making enough to where it wouldn't hurt making an investment to the channel, like having an editor, because I know so many YouTubers now, just because either editing intimidates them or they don't have the time, they will invest in an editor very early at a huge loss. And sometimes I feel bad editing for people like that.
I don't think I've ever had a loss where I was editing. I think one time, I think there was a little bit where I was worrying about it, and then sort of I joined SMP Earth and it was like, okay.
Yeah, okay, I can definitely do it now.
It's weird, I've had like a couple every time I have like a limbo on my channel, something comes and clutches it up.
Good.
Like I had a bit of a limbo at the end of Skyblock. I had like a limbo and then Skyblock started, and then I had a limbo and then SMP Earth started, and then I had a limbo and then the Hack Minecraft video started,
right?
And I had a limbo and then Dream SMP, then I had a limbo and then the mod videos, then I had a limbo and then vlogs. It's like,
and now we're gonna get into the GTA era. I'm super pumped. I hope it's a whole era, man. I hope it takes off.
I've never played GTA, but we're recording it tomorrow, and I'm like, I'm just hoping it's fun. I mean, dude, who knows though, right? Because I've made so many like one-off videos.
Sure.
You don't really think about until it becomes like a
thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are you doing RP or are you doing just?
I've just never played. Like I just want to dick around with sort of. It's all the guys that usually play Minecraft. We're just getting on GTA.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. No, that'll be awesome content. I'm excited for that.
I'm really excited. I think the thing we look for when we're making the mod videos, usually when we were coming up with the mods, is like what would have the most bits on, like what has the most sort of. Yeah. So like I remember Charlie Slimesicle when we started the morph mod, like Charlie. His jaw just dropped and he was like oh my God, this is it.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we didn't do a mod for a while. Then we did this one where you could like steal other people's organs. And he was like, yes. And so I just think GTA is going to be that on steroids for like,
Yeah,
bits. So
absolutely.
I'm really excited, but I'll let you know how it goes.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure I'll see on the channel itself. But the as far as like number of potential content ideas, like GTA has you covered. Like there's so many mods, there's so many like role play ideas that people have. I can't even begin to tell you how much GTA is recommended still to this day in my recommended. It's it definitely rivals Minecraft in longevity. Like I think GTA is 7 years old at this point.
It's old.
It's pretty old, but like obviously it's still got a very lively community, and I see a lot of parallels to Minecraft. So I think you've definitely got something there. There's a lot of potential.
I'll see, man. I'm really excited just to sort of see what the reception is.
See where it goes. Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, what was your question?
At what point did you realize that you'd benefit from someone else editing the content? But you answered that. You answered that.
Yeah. Cool.
We're going to use the time machine just a little bit, go back to, I want to say, if I'm incorrect, fill me in. I think it's 2016. I could be incorrect. During the eras of Channel Nutpig and, briefly TTG, was there a particular editing style from other creators, aside from Schlatt, obviously, that inspired you to incorporate into your own video creation? Or were you really just, trying to carve out your own style, right at the mound?
Yeah, so I think Channel Nutpig didn't really have a style. I think it must have just been like the overall sort of landscape of YouTube and what people did at the time.
Okay.
It was just like, this is what they do. So
this is a YouTube channel. I am a YouTuber.
TTG, which I never made a video on.
I'm so sad.
Which is also Channel Nutpig.
Right,
Tom Talks Gaming was, I think it was going to be Will N.E. styled. I'd really gotten into Will N.E. at the time.
Oh, okay.
I was going to do like sort of commentary on gaming, or maybe it was PBG, Peanut Butter Gamer styled. But then I made the welcome video, and that was just like after my school had found my channel, but not too long enough after. So then I just stopped.
Right.
But the TTG Discord is still my TommyInnit Discord. It's still I've got a screenshot of it when it first started, and it's like that's the same.
Oh, that's awesome! I actually had no idea. That's great.
Yeah. But no, that wasn't really anything. And then I was on Twitch for a few years. Then came back to TommyInnit.
And then you established your style. Okay, so there was nothing really that Channel Nutpig or TTG was going to borrow from aside from...
Yeah, they didn't really play. I mean, it was actually quite a different change because Channel Nutpig had face cam and like was sort of, let's play TommyInnit. I did not have any face. One of the things I was most anxious about because of YouTube, for the first few videos, I just wouldn't show my face on TommyInnit. Even though I'd shown it on my streams, every stream, I just wouldn't show my webcam.
Was there a particular reason or?
Yeah, I was just the idea of my face on YouTube. I was so anxious about because I was like, the idea of like I always had this fear of when my school was like on YouTube, like just seeing myself in the recommended.
Oh, a permanent place that your face is. I see.
Yeah, now, which is ironic, but
sure.
Yeah, like, but I was just like, fuck, what if I see one of my videos on the recommended?
Right.
And then I was like, I really didn't want one of my videos to be played in class because it had been in the past and it was awful. I was like,
God,
yeah. But then I went, nah, fuck it.
Yeah, no.
What was my first video? Actually, my first video had webcam in. I think it was webcam in the thumbnail. Was it? Oh no, I did have webcam in all my first TommyInnit videos. Maybe it was webcams in the thumbnails. But I know I certainly then stopped using webcam during SMP Earth. During Skyblock, which I'm pretty sure was just because Schlatt didn't use webcam. Like, it was very vain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
so much of my stuff just Schlatt inspired.
When you decided to not use your face cam for, reasons related to Schlatt or not, did you feel that it actually helped, quell your anxiety about having your face on YouTube and stuff like that at the time?
No, it didn't really play a part into sort of my anxiety at the time. It was only, do I have it on or off YouTube? And I had a few weeks of like deciding that. And then I did. Okay. And I was like, fine. It made streaming a very different experience when I didn't have webcam on. Because now when I stream, I have these sort of bright lights on. I'm looking at my screen and it's like that. But I felt the need that I could be a lot sort of more quiet and sort of silent on the stream and worry about less and pick my nose and do whatever because like no one can see me. I do miss those days of streaming without webcam. I don't think I would ever do a stream without webcam again. But yeah, I remember that was a very different time streaming without a camera.
Yeah, no.
But not so much content creating.
Right. I just thought it was interesting that you would, mention that you were a bit anxious about it. And, eventually you obviously made the decision that you did. But it just makes for a nice segue, because I did want to ask you about, anxiety as a whole. Obviously, beginning as a video editor, you've expressed in the past that you've had to cope with anxiety and, be it social or general, presumably. And personally, as an editor who is heavily affected by generalized anxiety disorder, would it be too much for me to ask you a bit more about those experiences?
No, sure. I'll talk about it, man.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, the social anxiety aspects are more than understandable given the, incredibly unique position you found yourself in. But in regards to anxiety that you find yourself having at home, like, one, what worries you the most? And two, what helps you cope?
So, where to start, right?
Sure. No,
it's been a weird few years, basically. What sort of specific ones are you sort of wanting to talk about? Is it more about like getting recognized, or about sort of making videos and creative anxiety, or
definitely
self-confidence and stuff? I feel very open to talking about this stuff on podcasts, but not really anywhere else.
Sure.
And I don't quite know why yet, but
it might just be.
I think it's the medium of being able to chill out and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm more than happy to talk about it. Yeah,
that, and you're chatting with somebody who's dealt with it for a decade.
Yeah,
so.
You get it, man. You get it.
Absolutely.
I'm sure the people in the comments do as well. Yeah. Anyway, sure. What period would you like to know about? At sort of very different stages of.
Right. I guess what was in your stage of your creative career, right? What was the first instance, not to a T, the very minute, of course, but what was the first time that you were really feeling anxious about something that involved your creative process?
So so a lot of my more anxieties sort of were with sort of real life and stuff. I've had a lot of. Okay, I'm trying to. Sorry, it's weird. I have like. So are we talking more about sort of creative anxiety, or like real life, like me as a person anxiety? Because I'm happy to talk about both. It's just sort of
sure.
Like,
yeah, I figured that you unfortunately dealt with both, but I know that the social anxiety and the real life anxiety is very much catered to going out into the real world and putting yourself out there physically as a person. But creative anxiety, at least for editors, it's almost sort of like a performance anxiety where you have a bad gut feeling that if something doesn't perform well, you might lose your job. In my case, that used to happen a lot, where I felt really, really pressured to knock out a video either as soon as possible or as best as I could, and if I didn't, then I would be at risk constantly. Job security always played into my generalized anxiety about being creative and things like that when it comes to editing. But I know with you, it was multi-layered, because not only did you deal with the editing side of making sure that your work was the best that it could be, and what if this video doesn't perform as well as the other ones, or what if it doesn't meet my own expectations or other people's expectations. And then of course, to layer all of that, you found success, and then now you have to deal with being recognized and just trying to have a normal day. And go about the town without feeling like the normalcy is being sucked from you. You know what I mean? Like, I know you've had to deal with a lot. So what is the most serious one that you deal with on a day-to-day basis then, if it's too generalized of a question?
Yeah, so the thing that was the most sort of whiplash for me was getting recognized, because I, had never experienced that. I think I spoke to Spifey one time and he told me that he had been once, and I was like, wow. And then all of a sudden it was a couple of people, and then I went into quarantine for a few months. It was a lot of people. Then I went into quarantine for a few months. Then it was shit tons of people. And then it was like, oh my God. But yeah, so for me, I had a few months of being like, fuck, like this is really hard. This isn't what I signed up for. Getting recognized is like really weird. Because obviously I've never been like, fuck off to anyone else, because I like love it. Like I've sort of, it's always been my like in my head, my obligation to say hi to someone and be, smiling, like, because I always am. Like, it's so flattering that someone, So I never, it's never like a bad thing, and it's never like fuck. But it is more sort of that idea of, if I want to wear my favorite red and white top in public, but it's the compromise between identity and sort of privacy, like they don't go hand in hand anymore, which is weird. And I remember one time, like sort of in sort of the peak of my anxiety, trying to go out and like wear glasses and a hat and like a coat, and I still had someone come up to me, and that was just like, oh wow, okay. But for me, I remember when I got over it, when it all of a sudden clicked in my head, and I went, oh, okay, so I've been doing therapy for like a year, and I sort of regretfully mentioned it on one of my few streams that I didn't like, when I was a bit sort of still getting to terms with all the stan culture stuff on like my alt one time, and was a bit freaked out, and sort of, I wish I hadn't have mentioned it then, because it sort of derailed into one of my only ever like dramas, which was about like, but yeah, I've been doing therapy. I think therapy is brilliant. I think especially if you've got a good therapist, which I have done, and I'm all for it. I've spent a lot of time convincing other creators to get therapy, because this is like not a thing that you should try and handle by yourself.
No,
and sort of like it's
no, it's
so
not.
weird, you know, no one's built for any of this. But yeah, so I have therapy, and one of the sort of things is that you learn about is exposure therapy, which is the idea of if something is freaking you out, sort of going it head on and then being like, this isn't that bad. And I remember it was sort of that sense of belonging that I really miss when I'd be out with my college mates and, you know, like girls that I liked. And then I'd get like recognized, I have to go to the side, and this like strange sense of not really belonging that I really sort of didn't like. And that was sort of upsetting when I was starting college. But I remember when I went to go out and film the KSI vlog.
Oh, right. Yeah,
where we met KSI in real life. And I was sort of getting over it now, sort of being a bit more sort of like, right, I'm going to go at this head on. And I'd walk into the busiest parts of town so I could like know that someone's going to say hi. And like, of course it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And I remember I was with George for the first time ever, and Wilbur and Vicstar, and we were in this park and we were just kind of like getting like mobbed for the first time. It was really weird, but it was obviously all of this has negative connotations, like getting recognized and mobbed and all. This is all people and brilliant interactions. And I'm so like, I love getting recognized. It's so sweet and sort of wholesome, I guess is the word I'd use. But I remember like this happened and I looked at George and he was as freaked out as I was. And I looked at Wilbur and I was like, just go with it, man. And I was like, this is brilliant. This all of us doing this together. And then I looked over and Vic had like his own crowd of people. And I was like, oh man, this is brilliant. This is like so sweet and cool. And then ever since then, when I had like one person come up to me, it was like, well, this is fine. It's not loads of people. Mm-hmm. And then as sort of time went on, I got a lot sort of more cool with getting recognized. And I went, yeah, this is like fine. I don't mind it. And it has its moments where I was like, maybe this is against my boundaries. Like I've had a couple of times where I've been like walking on the street and a car would pull up next to me and be like, are you TommyInnit? And I'd be like, yes, this is scary because you're just a car that just pulled over to me. But and I've had a couple. I had one time where someone like tapped me on the back when I had my headphones and it was at night and I like spun around like, this is where I die. But they're all like comical and like accidents, you know, they're not, you know.
Sure. So group exposure definitely helped you?
So yeah, it was sort of exposure therapy with that. And then recently, what it was is because I actually had a little bit more anxiety come back because I'm sort of starting this sort of beef with Gordon Ramsay, and he sort of messaged me like, yeah, man, I'm going to duet you soon, so watch out for it. So I've been taking this really quite...
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you on that. But I've been taking it quite seriously, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to put up these posters, and more people around my new city I've lived are going to know what I look like. Do I want this? Mm-hmm. Then I was like walking, and I just chat to more people. Like I've had so many chats with people that like at a train station or just walking and just speaking to people I never would have done usually because I have sort of the opportunity to, and they sort of feel welcomed around me. And that made me go, I love talking to people. People are brilliant. And I was like, man, yeah, this is totally fine. And so I think the most of my anxieties with that sort of secured now.
That's good. I'm glad. Yeah, it's definitely important to have a strong support group, and it sounds like the people that you even
I've
work
always
with
had that as well.
That are there for you.
Yeah, and I've got all these people I work with now. My parents are brilliant to talk about it with, and I have my therapist. And just like I've never not had a support group and sort of a lot of the things
that's really good.
You need with that. But yeah, it was a little jarring for a time.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds overstimulating, but
the lack of a transition, and I just went from I have 100,000 subscribers and sit about this in school with my friends to wow, I go out in public and like lots of people come up to me, but I don't mind it at all. I think it's really cool, and I love meeting people. And so I really have, no problem with it. And I've gotten a lot better recently at being like, if I'm like at a concert or something, being like, hey, I'm really sorry I'm not taking photos tonight, but it's really cool to meet you, and I hope you enjoy the show. And that's also been a lot more relieving. Like,
good. Yeah, I know a lot of people have a hard time even saying that, just because they don't want anybody to feel like they missed out or something along those lines. But no, I'm really glad that you found your own way to cope is the wrong word, but just kind of deal with
adjust, man.
Adjust, exactly. No, thank you. I appreciate you opening up about that because,
dude, yeah, absolutely. And sort of what was it like about creative anxiety? Was that
just as far as editors go, I know that a lot of them that I know personally deal with the idea that they'll disappoint their clientele or that they're not living up to even their own expectations. And that obviously boils down into job security and even their future in the medium as a whole, whether or not they want to continue editing. Like I have some friends in particular that, are just at the moment struggling to find work, and they're wondering if it's, boiling down to their portfolio or, some other aspect of networking and things like that. And I know because it's all mostly online, if you are not keen to this sort of environment, it can be super alienating if it is your job. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely difficult. So I guess I'm curious if you had any similar experiences at the start of your career when you were editing your own videos? Because I don't think you've ever done paid gigs for anyone else, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I
okay.
think almost I edited for a guy called Haminations once, but I didn't in the end.
Okay. So
I'm never, no.
So just editing your own videos, I would imagine that you at some point must have had concerns whether or not something would pop off or do well, or even if you would receive your own video well in like a week's time. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you'll just upload something and then a week later you're like, oh my God, that was shit. I wish I never uploaded that.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that many a time, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you go about dealing with that, or how would you advise going about dealing with that, seeing as you've overcome those hills and those challenges previously?
Yeah, so in my experience, I've never had a shit ton of creative anxiety because I've always felt like I'm just making this for me and people are enjoying it, and sort of also like playing a video game. So I've always just found it like, you know, if I put loads of effort into a video and I posted that and then didn't do well, I'll be like, that's fine. You know, there's been times when I'm playing Terraria and it takes me like 4 times to kill the Eye of Cthulhu, like, and then sometimes I'm playing hard, like, it's just how it is, you know.
Sure,
it's not.
Sure.
And I actually I got really back into Terraria recently, and I was like, holy shit, I'm thinking about killing the Moon Lord in the exact same way that I think about how I make a YouTube video. This is really weird. They're like in the same compartment of my brain. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like falling abed, like, wait, what if me and Aaron use the archery potion to kill that? And then I was also thinking about, what if I put this in that title? And I was like, oh my God, this is the same thing.
The same thought process. Right.
But yeah, no, I think I've always been really lucky with being able to post it and worry about, you know, that's fine. I've always got next week and the week after, and having this sort of, I guess my big advice with YouTube and sort of more to creators is that the thing that sort of the internet as a whole encourages you to forget is that it's been around for fucking ages, and you're going to be around for ages, whether you go up and down. And you can look at every social blade, and the easiest way to put this into like visual is go on any YouTuber's social blade, scroll down, and it's lumpy. It goes down, then up, then down, then up, then down, then up. It's never a straight line upwards, right? And so, you know, even like Mr. Beast, after he uploaded Squid Game, is way lower than it was after he was posting like a couple more times in quarantine, because it's not COVID anymore. And like getting over that idea of, you know, you're playing the long game, man. And so like you can have, and you got to live in the moment as well, sort of a big thing you learn about from therapy. But like, yeah, like you're playing the long game. You know, Dan TDM's been here for 10 years. I've been here for like probably longer. I've been here for 4 years now, you know, and I'm probably going to be here. I'm definitely going to be here for a lot longer. So that is a lot of time to be doing stuff. So you can't worry about my newest video.
Can't afford to.
Yeah, like, and YouTube really encourages you. And I had times in quarantine where sort of my self-worth was tied, sort of, as I was sort of felt like I was finding myself. A lot of my self-worth was tied to my analytics. One of the strangest things that ever happened to me. Yeah. But like, it's also had some positives. Like one of the strangest things was I was sort of not like self-conscious about how I look, but you know, there's always like the popular kids in school.
Oh, sure.
Who go out with all the popular girls. It just kind of was in my head like, yeah, I'm not one of those ever. And I remember like when I was sort of finding myself, and really, which I feel like I've done in the past year, and I feel like I've sort of matured quite a lot, was it was when I was really into Ludwig. And one of the things he said that really inspired me, because I used to watch Ludwig every single day in the quarantine, was he just went, mate, no one is attractive. People just like who they like and look who they look like. And I was like, holy shit, Ludwig is right, as I left secondary school. And then I started putting my face in my thumbnails, and because I was still so into like analytics, and then my analytics went up, I was like, that's really cool. It's really boosted my self-confidence.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, which is really weird, right?
Sure.
So I think like the main thing about YouTube is remembering we're going to be here forever. It's going to be around for a while, as is the internet, whether it is on YouTube or TikTok, right? And so not tying everything to, right, your newest 3 videos has done worse, and instead being like, right, what can I learn from this? Because one of the things that would be my advice to streamers and YouTubers now is when you publish a video, you almost have no control over the view count. You can change your title and thumbnail. You can change the metadata. Hell, you can YouTube editor it if you're a tryhard, which I've done a couple of times, but you can't really control it.
Right.
When you hit go live, you cannot control that viewer count on stream, because so many people I know, even I do, is like see my viewer counts lower and go, and see it's higher and go, yes, but you can't control that when you hit go live. You just can't. You can't control how many likes your tweet gets once it's out. What you can control, especially on YouTube, because it's much more of a video game, is what you take from that. If you post a video and it does a lot worse, what you can then control is, right, what did a lot worse about it? What can I learn? What do I not like? What didn't the viewers like? That's what you can be in control of and learn about. So you can post a shit video, and you can post a shit like performing video, and then spend more time on that, being like, why didn't that perform?
Why was it shit? Right.
And sometimes you can rectify it on YouTube. So, like, really? Then again, recently the title and thumbnails are so much more important in the past few years than usual. But yeah, and that would be sort of my advice now. It's like once you've hit publish on your work, it's out there. It's done. That is done. The next thing is upcoming, and not thinking constantly about
how it did,
like, you know, exactly everything it's doing,
forward.
how many views has it got this last bit. I used to have a thing where I'd hover over it and it'd show me how many views I've gotten in the last second and how many I'd got in the last hour, and I was like, that is fucking awful. And like, still now, I'm still sort of figuring out how I am with TikTok, and I sort of check my view account more on that, but it's less impactful. It doesn't bring me down or particularly bring me up. It's just informative, and that is where you want to be, is where it is informative.
Just treat it as information first, and
treat it as information that you can learn from, and like that's what you can actually have in your control, is what you learn from it, because sort of anxiety derives from things that aren't in your control, so you got to like say to yourself, right, this isn't, I can't take from this now because it is out there, but what I can do is learn, and that is important.
Tie your self-worth to the knowledge you gain from your experiences, not necessarily the experience itself.
And don't like tie your self-worth to, like, my other advice is the internet is brilliant. The internet is one of the best and worst things to ever be created, ever. But it is not everything, it really can feel like everything. And it is important that the internet is incredible and it's a really brilliant thing, but it's not like, don't tie your self-worth to it, man. You know, it's just not.
I understand what you're trying to say. What I was going for was essentially that.
Sorry, not to disagree with you. I just
no.
In general,
absolutely. I'm just trying to get across that if you are having issues with your self-worth and you are tying it to your content, or, you know, how your content performs, try to at least move the goalpost back a bit and
have some, like, the big thing everyone lacks, like, indisputably, is perspective. No one really has enough. That's what I think, right? And it's why, you know, it's why 20-year-olds look at, like, teenagers and laugh like idiots. And that's why 30-year-olds look at 20-year-olds and laugh like idiots. And that's why 40-year-olds, because everyone has more perspective. And it's just like remembering, like, no one has that. So trying to kind of keep that in mind, so you don't get caught up in every last moment and every last analytic. And because you can, and I have, and I will again, I'm sure. But, like, that is really important.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that wraps up the anxiety portion. I really only wanted to discuss the college bit last, and then, well, actually, did you want to talk about fonts before we dive into the college stuff?
Fonts.
Okay, all right. So we had said earlier that we were going to wrap around back to fonts. Do you want to go ahead and wrap around back to that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
get me started on fonts, King.
Okay. So Doses Bold, tell me why.
Yes. All right, listen up, editors, because I have something to say on fonts. The font, all of these font websites are, in my humble opinion, bullshit. What you need, the way to get a good font, here is the life hack to finding your own font, right? No one has to keep using Doses Bold anymore. I go on YouTube Shorts and so many people use Doses Bold, and it's a really good font, but we need a bit of variety around here. Like Quackity has a really brilliant font that's like sort of different, right? The way I'm going to give the life hack to how to find a good font. And when I figured this out, and like, I thought it was one of my mates the other day, and they were like, holy shit, here's how you do it. And it's almost the same with music. The way to find good fonts is to go to movie posters and video games that you like, that match your personality, and go on the font for the menu and the title screen. Go on a font looker-upper, go on that font, right? So like, I don't know, Terraria. You really like the Terraria menu font and it really matches your personality. And games that you play will often match your personality and like the vibe of what it is. Google that font, and then it will say it costs £40. Google that font and type afterwards free, and then you will find a crack for it. Yeah. So the way I found my font is I remember looking at Call Me Carson and Fitz's font going, they're brilliant, but I don't want to use the same one as them, you know, because fonts say so much. Like when you see Doses Bold now, you sort of subconsciously think about TommyInnit.
Yeah.
Because I think it is so in stone, the font that I use.
Right.
But what I is go on sort of games that you like and games that have cool fonts, Google it, and then you can find really good fonts. Because the thing about video games, unlike the font and these sort of free font websites, is they have to look good because everyone's going to look at these. They are, the video game maker has put so much effort into making this font look cool.
Right.
So Doses Bold is the VR chat font. You probably never knew that, but it is the exact font from the game VR chat, because I just spent like an hour. I went to the Stardew Valley font. I didn't really like it. Too farm-like. Terraria font, too squiggly. Doesn't look good. Starbound font looks good, but it's like glitchy on Premiere Pro. Doses Bold. It has the curviness. Now, the next thing about fonts is matching, especially subtitle fonts, is matching how you sound. The thing about Doses Bold is it's very sort of curvy and also kind of friendly, but still... It kind of sounds like how I sound, Doses Bold. It kind of sounds like how a person speaks. So does the Call Me Carson main subtitle font. So does the Quackity font. So does the Fitz font. And then working out what you like about those. So I really like sort of the curvy edges and like the bounciness of it. And then being able to put like... I'm very into this.
Please continue.
Like, Google that. I think that is really important of like what a subtitle does. I think for comedy videos, only really comedy videos, like subtitles, yes, they're good for retention because people look at them more. But the reason you should do subtitles is impactfully. I do them because if I'm doing a bit and Tubbo says quietly something in the background and it's hilarious, when you read that, you process a lot more how funny it is. It's really good for emphasizing humor.
Right.
That's why I really like fonts, because like there'll be times I'll watch a J-Schlatt video the second time round and I'll hear a joke I didn't hear the first time. And I want it to, that you hear every joke the first time. A lot of the times, because he is so violently clever, I'll film something with Charlie Slimesicle. And I won't even laugh at his joke in the recording because it goes over my head. And then I watch it back and like, that was so funny. And with subtitles, that enhances that. The other thing about them is making them look really aesthetically pleasing. So I find sort of, it's a mix of stroke and drop shadow as well. And you can sort of play around with that. And then depending on what you want. Now, you got two types of people. Bounce people and no bounce people. I'm a bounce man myself. I find subtitles need a bounce on. It gives off more of a friendliness. Some people don't. Like Wilbur never uses bounces for his subtitles. And again, like Wilbur doesn't have a very sort of friendly font, but it really matches his vibe of like the sort of Windows 98 aesthetic. And it is matching your individual vibe with the font. Technoblade has Arial Bold, which really matches him. And also the thing about fonts is they have like the light version, then the bold version. Like Dosis Regular looks like dog shit. Dosis Light looks dog shit. Dosis Semi-Bold looks dog shit. Dosis Bold is the best thing of all time. Oh man, I've been waiting for a thank you, Kia, for allowing me to rant about fonts. I've never been able to do this before. But yeah, I think fonts are very important. And you can also, I recently found out that the Call Me Carson font is the same one that Burger King uses on the third. I realized
like commercially.
I walked past and went, holy shit. Yeah,
wow,
because it's like, it looks good, right?
Sure.
And my one is the same as VR chat. And like, that's, in my opinion, how you find good fonts. And I think it is important to individuality and to your aesthetic you're going for to find a font you really like. I think it really goes a long way. Same with music and same with a lot of things, but I'm violently passionate about fonts and how people do them. And how people do subtitles. I think they're so interesting as subtitles. Like they add so much character while adding so little to the screen.
Yeah.
They're so brilliant.
I think that's wonderful advice. I really think that you nailed it when you said that you really want it to reflect your personality. I don't think a lot of people take that into consideration when they're looking for fonts, you know, whether it be on DaFont or elsewhere, right? Like, for example, I work with Socks for One currently, and he uses a font called Bubblegum. I think it reflects his personality perfectly.
In DMs, that's a really good, What's your favorite font?
My favorite font. Oh my God. Oh, give me a moment to think about this.
I'm going to say as well, like, I always thought Comic Sans was bullshit. And then Rambo uses it, and I'm like, it looks okay. I really think it fits.
Like, now it looks okay because it's in this context, it looks great.
He owns it, man.
Right, right, exactly. I want to say Babus New is probably one of my favorites.
Babus New. I'm Googling it as a font.
Neue is how you say.
Yeah, I like it.
I like Babus New.
Yeah, it's got that fucking oomph to it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. There's obviously tons of fonts that you can find for free online for free, quote unquote.
Illegally, just get illegal, crack things, man.
I'm not advocating that.
Just do it. I am so advocating it. Just like, who cares? It's the internet, man.
Yeah. No, legitimately, if whatever it takes to be creative the way that you want to be creative.
As long as you're not murdering anyone, then crack whatever you need.
Sure.
That's what I think, mate.
The U.S. government says piracy is not a victimless crime, but we beg to disagree.
Yeah, but it is though, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
It's a font, mate.
It really is. It really is.
Unless the government's listening, in which case I've never cracked a font, I never will crack a font, and it's really important that you don't, guys.
Oh, it's too late. Yeah, the FBI.
But if the government isn't listening, come on, boys. To be honest, yeah. And for the love of God, there is the Minecrafty font, and there is this bullshit, fake, ever so slightly fake Minecraft font. Please do not use the fake Minecraft font. It is bad looking. It looks awful, and you please, everyone. So many people use the fake Minecraft font.
I laugh every time I see it. Yeah.
Minecraftier is the one you want, and what you want to do is, if you want it to look exactly like Minecraft, there's tutorials, but you dupe it, and then you undo the top one, and then you make it a darker color. So if it's white, you make that one gray, and then you put it like 4 keyframes to the sort of right and down, and then it looks great.
I'll just visualize that in my head. I'll have to like throw that into the edit to show people what you mean. But I kind of visualize exactly what you mean. I think
that's how it looks exactly like Minecraft. And like, guys, don't use the shit Minecraft font, please, everyone. Okay, I've got it off my chest. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
Absolutely. I think that's a great piece of advice. Definitely when you're finding fonts online that you want to use for your content, prioritize matching your personality and your content first and foremost. So great piece of advice. As far as college goes, and you'll have to clarify for me first and foremost what college is in the UK, because to my understanding, college is after high school, which you call primary school?
Yeah. Okay. This is going to get confusing.
Yeah, that's why I want to clarify it first, because I know that there's going to be
What is it you want to know about college first, I guess? College is like my late high school, like 16 to 18.
So, okay, is college required? Let me ask you that.
You do college or sixth form. Sixth form is the more academic, typically, form of college, which is like English and stuff. College is sort of broader. You can also do an apprenticeship, which is like hands-on, like going to work for someone while also doing a bit. It gets confusing. I did college, which basically 16 to 18, and I did film and TV.
Okay, so it's not necessarily required, just recommended.
It is. You still have to be in education till 18, but you could it's not, I'm sat in school learning Spanish. It changes violently.
Okay. Because in the United States, from grade 9 to 12, that is considered high school. After you graduate high school, which is like age 18, generally speaking, people graduate anywhere between 17 and 19, but generally it's 18 you graduate. Yeah. Once you graduate high school, you have the option to go to college. And generally people do go to college, a little less so recently because of, just global economic reasons, but it is optional. But when I was writing my notes, I was writing down uni, and someone told me, no, he hasn't gone to uni.
Uni is the same as college, yeah. So uni is like 19 to 18 to like 21.
Okay.
College is 16 to 18. But your college is my uni. I haven't gone to uni, and I dropped out of college, found myself a honey realm of knowledge, so I've been doing fine.
Yeah, wow. So that summarizes literally all my questions that I was going to ask you about it, but let's get into the details, because I'm not going to waste this time. So from past interviews and talks, obviously you attended college for the purpose of learning about editing, and I believe you said you knew that that's what you always wanted to do early on in your career. Yeah. But now that you've left, can you safely say that you've obtained the knowledge you were seeking out there that wasn't obtainable, just here on the internet?
I really liked my college. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. The staff were really good. It was brilliant. But I did it during COVID, and as I was getting recognized. So a lot of my sort of assignments, I could be like, hey, I was out skydiving this week. I'm really sorry. Can I skip? And they went, yeah. Because they also, they kind of saw I had a job and were like, listen, you're here to learn how to get a job, and you have one. Right. We don't want to take you away from that. So I was during COVID, so I was more at college for socializing, honestly. I don't feel like I sort of learned a crazy amount. It was weird because the stuff I did learn, like the rule of threes and shit like that, was so helpful. Right. But even my mate Aaron is doing the same course I did, and he's like, yeah, dude, we've done all this. And I'm like, I didn't do that. Because I was in the world's strangest year. I also didn't attend any of the online lessons ever. Oh, okay. Because didn't really want to. Sure. But I really liked college. I really liked in-person learning. I liked being able to ask a teacher questions. I liked being able to be a nerd and do an assignment faster and then be like, look at this, I threw on chromatic aberration. They're like, wow, I don't care. I did that a few times. Maybe one day one of my college assignments will see the light of day. But
it's a very nice. You found the effects panel.
I starred in all of them. Yeah, I starred in all of them. What was one of them? Big man. I had one that was like a big man dies, and it was me, and I like drink some alcohol in a pub and then keel over and die. Or maybe I had a flashback to me dying. And I did one that was like a film noir thing where like I think I starred in it as a detective. Maybe I'll. It was. I think Big Man Dies was the. That was the best one.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, please share that eventually. That's hilarious.
Maybe in Big Man. That was like as I was doing on my YouTube as well. I started in Big Man Dies. I can't remember what it was called. It was great though. And then I did a music video as well where the story was. Oh, that one I was pretty lazy on. That one I was like, I just wanted to go home and vlog. I think I was like getting beat up by someone because I
in the music video.
Yeah, but there was no explanation why, and I was just going to like the top of a car park and looking out, and then turning around and getting beat up. And then, that one didn't have many layers to it. But the other one, Big Man Dies, that was a classic.
Yeah, you sound quite proud of Big Man Die. Do you still have it?
It was like 20. Like, yeah, I have Big Man Dies.
Oh my god! Well,
I don't think it's as good as I remember, but. You know.
Well, yeah, nothing we ever make academically is ever as good as we remember, but
well, I don't know. Big Man Dies is
okay. You have to show us then at that point. All right. So obviously, there's tons of younger editors who are like still on the fence about,
losers.
College uni. Yeah, tons of losers out there who are trying to figure out their purpose of like, where they want to further their knowledge of editing. Like, do I want to learn more on my own, just at home off YouTube, or do I want to actually take classes and, be a bit more nuanced about, everything involved with editing. So filmography and photography, audio design, things like that, that also, play huge parts of or can play huge parts of editing. What is right for those people? Like, because you've already been in those classes and you are obviously have the success that you have now, you have a very unique position to say those classes are meant for XYZ people. I don't think I've ever heard you say on record who you personally think those classes are best for. Are you comfortable sharing your opinion on who you think those classes would best benefit?
Yeah, I mean, so I can only speak on behalf of what I had. Mine was much more about like sort of film as an overall and what that is going into that. Mine was brilliant. It was like teaching you, do you like editing? Do you like makeup artists? Do you like green screen? It has loads.
Okay, so it's a bit of everything.
My advice of like, what you, I'm not sure if this is me misinterpreting the question, but what you want to learn about editing is like, just like, I've never edited for anyone else. So I guess this is sort of dependent on your client and who you're working with, but just like, edit for yourself and learn things like that you're excited about. Like one of the things I'm gonna do at some point, because I love doing it, is I did a video when I hit 5,000 subscribers called Every Minecraft YouTuber Ever, where I just impersonated other YouTubers and did like their editing to the T, and I loved that. And I'm gonna do a part 2 at some point because I just love and maybe I'll do it as like a short thing on TikTok, or I'll do it like but I really want to exactly imitate Mr. Beast's style and learn the exact stroke he puts on it. And I loved making that video. I'm definitely going to do another one. And it's like, I really, you got to like edit things for yourself. And I think generally, if you're making something and you're also passionate and excited about it, that is the backbone of everything else you make off of that.
Yeah.
So my advice for learning about editing, you kind of learn anything. And depending on what works best for you, for me, I quite like having like people teach me their ways and like, someone else telling me do this and do, like I've learned my most from calling people and bothering.
A direct learning.
Yeah.
Right.
So people like watching tutorials. And I did my first one. I just Googled Premiere Pro tutorial, did it. Yeah. And then I went, I know enough, and then made my first couple videos. I think my dad taught me Final Cut Pro on my mum's computer was how I did my first editing.
Right. You said your dad was an editor as well, right?
My dad does lots of stuff sort of in the video game industry and stuff like that, but he also is just into music and editing, and I have a very sort of creative family. But yeah, that's what I'd advise. And a lot of editing as well is just like make shit. Like so many people sort of are de-incentivized about making shit. Like, is it original? Will it be good? Will it be bad?
Right.
Like, sometimes you don't know until you've made it, and sometimes it will be bad. But it is so much better to be bad than boring. So please make bad things. Make so many bad things, and do not make anything that is boring.
That's probably the best.
Bad is great.
Yeah, that's the best segment I'm going to get out of this podcast, I think.
Yeah, but dude, I'm gonna make so many bad things in the future. I'm gonna make a video essay that might be shit, and I'm on my second draft of scripting it at the moment, and I don't know. And it, the first draft was identical to a tribute to Minecraft. The second draft might not. Like, I don't know. But that might be shit, but I'm going to make it and I'm going to get it to be good enough, and then I'm going to publish it, and then I'm going to learn if I want to do another, or maybe that was a one-off. Like, but that is way better than finding something that works a bit and doing that to the grave.
Yeah, yeah.
And like it is so much better to do things that are shitty but that excite you than to do things that are just boring and don't be safe with it. I mean, everything on the internet recently, especially in the past few years, rewards creativity. So just be creative and have confidence, because the internet, unlike real life, the internet. Okay, this is what I think is the internet really doesn't matter. There is not, I've always been sort of what I was saying earlier. Like even now, I will fucking panic my ass off if I'm in the record store and there's someone I want to say hi to and strike up a conversation. That's so hard.
Sure,
but. I have like 100 messages to Schlatt before he messaged me back, because I was like, who cares? The worst case scenario is they leave you on red. So like, yeah, the internet doesn't matter. You can just do shit on it,
Yeah.
And I think that is fun, and that is a really good medium to like express your creativity and learn shit and do more shit. So that's what I think.
That you have given me some of the best advice that has been given on this podcast so far. So I greatly
I get
appreciate
most of
you.
my advice from Wilbur and Dream and my parents, and advice is also just not. This is quoted from Wear Sunscreen, but advice I can't remember is like recycling the past and putting it in
sure,
words.
yeah, absolutely.
But I recently decided I'm going to stop crediting everyone that gave me advice, because I'd just be saying Wilbur's name every 30 seconds.
Or Dream, or your parents.
yeah, but they can all go to hell because I'm the best.
That's right. You wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. They are
I'm the
where
best,
they're
and
at.
I'm grounded, and I was anxious, and now I'm not, and I'm awesome now.
Exactly. It's just that easy. So one more question for you, Tom. I'm just super curious if you know what your next career / like life goal is at this point, or are you just taking it day by day? Because I'd imagine that now that you've achieved like a level of success, that most people only dream of course, I can imagine it's like difficult for you to find something new to pursue or even want to do at that point creatively.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, actually, because I mean, I can talk about this for a while. So basically,
sure.
I kind of entered into a bit of my first ever sort of work depression last year, where I'd kind of like hit 11 million, and sort of post-COVID, all of the numbers were going down, and I was like, fuck. And I think I had a week where I uploaded like 5 videos in 7 days across my 2 channels, and all of them sort of did below average. And then I went, why? Like, I don't want more subscribers anymore. Why am I doing, like, I have 10 million. I did that. It really fucking sort of rocked me. And this is also as all my friends went to America, and I was like, fuck, I'm a bit miserable. And it was sort of, my granddad was living with me, and he sort of, I'm not really spoke about this, but he sort of he has dementia, and it was just a really weird time.
As well.
Right as I was like, right as I was, I hope my mum's alright, we're talking about, I think she said, but on the internet, but like right as I was like also sort of not confident with what I wanted to do next. And so I had like a while of being like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And I was like, I was having walks every day with my dad chatting about like, man, I don't know what to do. My dad's brilliant. He has always encouraged me to like, whatever you do, don't do a brand deal, do something weird as fuck. Like the last thing you want to do, like do not start a company to make money, man. Do something that's weird, that's cool. And I was like, thanks. That's also what Wilbur's been like they're very sort of, and Ash from Lovejoy, who I've been speaking to a lot, he's always encouraged me that. So I was sort of like confused. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, so I was in this sort of mellow state, and I did this video that was really my gut feeling. It was like, I'm going to do an in public video. And I really liked it. It was good. And it didn't really get many views because I posted it on the wrong channel, and I was like not very sort of like, I don't know. I didn't think it was sort of right for my audience. Then I had like a month of really like thinking by myself as well, like quite independently, like, fuck, what do I want to do? And then I finally came back and went, right, I'm going to do my gut feeling here. And it was also in winter, and winter's just depressing. And, it was a half a month. I went, right, I'm going to follow my gut. What's an idea I've had for ages? Talent show. I'm going to make that. And then that blew, and then I was like, right, because I didn't have, like, I was kind of nervous to ask all these YouTubers to do a thing.
Right.
And I went, right, I'm going to make that. And then it went down really well. It was probably one of the most fun, kind of life-changing recordings I've ever had. I remember Schlatt going up and doing that half-bit joke. There's a bit where I just shout at all the other YouTubers because I'm so offended that they dare talk over him. And dude, going up on that stage and like doing the half bits with Schlapp was like actually closure for me. Like I think I cried after the record. I was just so bewilderingly happy. Like, how is this real? Because I am just a Schlapp fanboy and Technoblade fanboy, but I still am now. Like,
sure,
people are like, why do you spam Technoblade in your thumbnails? And I'm like, because it's fucking Technoblade.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But Techno knows that as well. I was just like, yeah, so I was sort of a bit sort of freaked out. Then I was just following my gut with it more, following that, chasing that. Now I'm feeling very confident. And I sort of wrote down, right, like, you know, I'm happy with what I'm doing now, but what do I want to do? Because the big thing I really like is, like, you know, I think I'd be confident if I posted consistently now for like a while. I think I'd always have a core audience, you know, not frequently, but consistently.
Right.
But I quite like overachieving and like understanding new things. Like, that's just always what my kind of gut has been as soon as I'm excited about something. So for me, it was sort of re-sparking that excitement about it and then being like, right, what do I want to do now? This is exciting. And the big thing that sort of me and Tubbo talked about, which he sort of went, yeah, man, this is it now. And it kind of went, oh, and this is going to sound wanky. This is going to sound so up my own arse, so wanky. But it was like, now it is less about following what everyone else has done and kind of doing what I want to do and kind of leading. This sounds,
no, please,
maybe it's my
continue.
inner British kicking me in the balls. Like, how dare you compliment you? But like sort of going down what I want to do. Actually, that sounded wanky. But like going down kind of what I want to do next now.
Yeah.
As opposed to sort of following the example of it. And so I think sort of clocking that and sort of instilling a lot of confidence in me and then taking the leap and doing things that I think will do well, making my own shit.
Right.
Was sort of, you know, being reliant on people by choice and not just because I've decided I have to be.
Right.
And so I sort of clocked that and went, yes, all right, brilliant. This is really exciting. And then I went, right, I want some sort of more ambitions now. I want things like I'm going to do because I feel like I've done the hardest part, which is sort of breaking that glass ceiling above my head, which is like, you know, transcending the Minecraft viewership and going, right, what do I want?
What's next? What do I want?
The way I came up with this was looking out of my mirror behind me and writing down a load of things that like I don't think I can do because I love learning shit about YouTube. So I was like, right, I don't think I can get a load of followers on TikTok. I don't think I can get a 50 million viewed video. I just wouldn't know how. And then I went, right, that's exciting. And then I went, okay, do I actually want to? And I wrote down some of them. I did, some I didn't. And now I have sort of these like goals that I want to try and do that are like challenging. You know, I've been sort of enjoying really figuring out TikTok because it's like obviously the way it's sort of moving and like trying maybe YouTube Shorts and like understanding it and sort of getting it, speaking to loads of people and making advice and tying that in with everything else.
So you chase a challenge, really, is what it boils down to.
We do a little challenges around here. But once I sort of figured that out and like what I want to do and like sort of going back to my roots with that YouTuber talent show and then going, oh, of course I love this. Why am I like, you know, this is what I need, to do more.
Yeah.
So sort of what I'm planning to do now is sort of more uploading frequently, especially on TommyInnit. Sort of TommyInnit is my main thing, and then everything is sort of an add-on around it. Sorry, kid, I'm not straying too away from editing and talking just about
No.
Okay, cool.
By all means.
Thank you. TommyInnit is like my main thing. That's sort of like, you know, I get it and I know I'm going to love it for a long time because I've done it for a long time.
Yeah,
like I didn't predict with the vlogs that, you know, like I went out and filmed one with Phil where we went to a zoo and the content was like good and I might turn it into something, but it wasn't like crazy and it just wasn't, you know, we were quite tired for it. And that is a day and a half of filming and days of planning just like gone. Doesn't equate to anything. And then I did like one TommyInnit video with Techno and Tubbo that I was like, I don't really like this. And that was an hour and a half of time gone. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize about the I didn't predict the physical exhaustion side of things for sort of vlogs.
Sure, yeah.
But TommyInnit is now my main thing, and then TikTok and Tom Simons are all add-ons from it. But my current plan is to post more, generally sort of weekly. I'm sort of going to transition into over the next few months on TommyInnit, Tom Simons, be like a little bit less perfectionisty on the videos and try and get them like as good as I can do.
Right.
I've been assembling a lot more of an editing team and a development team so I can come up with these much more ambitious, some more grandiose, but sort of, I want to do these more grandiose videos like my 100 YouTuber video I did and getting like bigger and trying things that like I want to do and I don't think are possible and making them possible. While also staying very in touch with my roots and being like, you know, let's just do a video where one of the things we're going to record in the next few weeks is like, we're just going to look at this old Minecraft wiki I found, like me, Freddy and Jack Manifold and Tubbo. And maybe I'll put that on my second channel. Maybe I won't go anywhere, but just like making stuff as well as getting more grandiose. And a big variety of that because a lot of the sort of reception I saw, which was right, is yes, they're really liking my new videos with all these new YouTubers. But like, you know, I think one of the biggest things for YouTube is whenever someone subscribes to me, whether it was when I had 100 subscribers or 100,000 or 5,000 or 1, is that no matter point, no matter the point in my channel, they're not disappointed with my content. And so I sort of want to be a little bit more back to my roots. And as well as doing this more stuff, and this is why I'm posting more frequently, to also like, just like me and my mates are going to dick about on GTA 5. Then we're going to dick about with this mod idea I had. And then we're going to like do a huge YouTube at Hunger Games. And then we're going to, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other ideas I have.
No, you're all good. No need to give away everything for free here.
Oh no, I'll spoil anything. Why I have like a few ones I'm keeping in my sleep. I'm very open. I'm not a big keep things to myself. But yeah, and like trying new shit and stuff. And like, you know, me and Wilbur are like starting on doing like a book of like the quote book of what he said for a while, and that will come out at Christmas. And I'm like trying, you know, like I think sort of experimenting with other mediums, because now I'm at the point where I've got enough opportunities that I can like try other stuff that I might like. So, you know, I'm sort of doing a video that verges on the lines of sort of on the similar in front of an audience kind of stand-up comedy-esque on my vlog channel.
Okay, cool.
In a few months' time, that's sort of working on, and that I might go on there and feel the wave of laughter and all of a sudden be like, holy shit, yes, I want to do stand-up everywhere. Or I might not. But like having the opportunities now to try shit and then going, what do I want to do next?
Right.
Is something I'm very excited about. So
I am more than happy that you're in a position now where you can actually be experimental with your content. And people will follow.
So lucky, man. Man, I'm so lucky for my viewer base. Like, it's so overwhelming that it's not overwhelming in a brilliant, positive way that I actually have this. Like, one of the things I was most nervous about is post-COVID, because I think a lot of my content's really subjective. That's like, you know, you know, Dream is like, he plays Minecraft, doesn't always talk so much in his videos, and you know, he has this huge viewer base that's just for him, but he has this sort of one that transcends him. Mine is all about me being annoying and a teenager, and I think I was quite worried. Like, okay, sort of, you know, who was watching me for that, because I know I've had YouTubers that I've been like, I was really into Will NE, and like I like Will NE now and his videos, but it's not who I'd like go to watch. Like, please, was I sort of just for that time, or people sticking with me? And I'm so lucky and happy that people are sort of stuck with me, and it's it's, you know, I want to keep surprising. One of the things I've always made an effort to do is, as I've sort of grown, is to keep focusing on, I think another piece of advice I'd have sort of with creators, if this is helpful and I'm not rambling for too long, is that a lot of people sort of, when they blow up, you know, you blow up because you're good at comedy and you put effort into your editing and whatever it is that you specifically blown up for. And then the result of that, the reward, is subscriber count and money and the sense of belonging and feeling popular, and it's brilliant. And then because of that, you want more of the reward. And so you want more money and more popularity and more of that. But before you know it, you're chasing the reward, and the things that you originally got big for, you're not even big for anymore.
Exactly.
And the best example I can think, and God knows keeps getting brought up a lot today, I always feel like I've never credited Dream enough within a lot of my podcasts, so I'm sort of making an effort to in this.
Sure.
Because he's done so much help me. Like, Dream is a 30 million subscriber YouTuber, you'd hate to say, but a celebrity, and he spends most of his time getting better at Minecraft PvP, which is absurd. He is a celebrity. Why is he doing that? But of course he should do, because that's what's got him popular. I spend most of my time editing and hanging out with my mates and trying to make jokes and going on, you know, thinking about jokes and stuff like that, because that is why I want to keep getting better at that and like expanding.
Right, and that's what you love to do.
Better. Yeah, and not losing those roots as you get bigger is crazy important. And so that's, I guess that's the sort of extent of my ramblings. But yeah, that's sort of my plan. Having some things that are a bit more grandiose, but still expanding on why were the mod videos popular? What is it that sort of me, and making videos for myself while thinking about my audience and thinking about new people and what that might be. So yeah.
Yeah, I am incredibly excited for the future for you, Tommy. It was an absolute blast having you on.
This was so much fun. I'm really excited to read all the comments and how this was brilliant, man. I really appreciate you just letting me talk about myself, because I am self-obsessed.
No, by all means, I wanted to hear everything. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me, man. I genuinely really appreciate. This was so much fun.
It was fun listening to everything you had to share, man. This is seriously, it's great advice.
Thanks, mate. Thank you so much.
I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. And where can people...
Oh, wow. Wait, sorry. I just looked at my... Yeah. Wow, we went way over an hour. Holy shit.
We did, but that's perfectly okay.
Wait, oh my God. Wait, we're 1 hour 4... God, I talk about myself for too long. All right, cool. All right.
No, it was brilliant. What's the best place for people to keep up with all your content if they're not already?
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/Tubbo, TikTok at Tubbo. That is generally where I'll be, where you sort of find me at my best. Cool.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Take care.
Thanks, mate. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.